I am honored to speak to the champion of Cyrodiil. The Chestnut Handy stables used to sell horses, but they're gone. Our horses, all gone. Big mystery. No idea where they went.
Hello and welcome back to Afterglow, episode 111, and this episode, myself and Grim from the Grim Glow and the Lost and Gone podcast are going to be covering probably the newest game I believe that I've covered here on Afterglow. We're going to be covering the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, which originally came out on the Xbox 360. That's where I played it mostly, and of course I did play it some on PC. It's recently had a remaster, so we kind of dive into the remaster a little bit. We've both played both the original a ton, plus we've worked in the remaster a little bit. So we're going to be sharing our thoughts on Oblivion after our music break. And welcome back. Grim is joining us again for this episode as we delve into the newest game so far that we've covered on the show with the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
By Azura, by Azura, by Azura, it's the Grand Champion.
We are the Grand Champions. We are the 2024 champions of summer, at least, for the Retro Olympics.
That is true. We did win.
Yes, we are officially an award-winning podcast.
You heard it first here, folks.
And I guess if some of the other people out there don't like it, they can try to close our Oblivion gate and beat us next time we're on.
Well, little do they know, the Changer is on our side. Every time they try and close our Oblivion gates, we'll just open another one.
Yeah. They do tend to reopen. Unless you beat the main quest line. But we're jumping way, way ahead. We're both here to talk about our memories of Oblivion. Grim's played this somewhat more than I have, I think. I really, really got into it whenever I was younger. But I moved on, and now I'm replaying the remaster that came out recently. So, I guess we'll start with Grim. How did you first hear about the game, and when did you first pick it up?
Well, that would have to be when I was a very, very, very young lad. Probably around when I was 12, 13 years old, and my dad had a cracked version of it. It was the coolest fucking thing I had ever played in my life. Like, some of the coolest 3D models I'd ever seen, and having been a big fan of Morrowind already, getting to play this was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. I loved the combat system. There were so many revolutionary things about it. But, again, I've even now as an adult, I just checked on Steam, and I've easily put over 100 hours in the original.
Wow. I first got it on 360. I had bought Morrowind, and that's a story for another time, but I didn't have the time to put into it at the time. I was in college, I was working a couple jobs at the time. But later on in life, I wanted to go ahead and grab the sequel, and I got into it. I bought it for 360, and I got the collector's edition. which came with this book. I sent Graham a copy of the book that has like this guide to the entire world map and everything. It came in really handy.
Oh yeah, especially for this, yes. It comes very handy with just kind of understanding the layouts and stuff like that. Now, I have in my possession a very coveted thing called the Elder Scrolls Anthology Edition, and in it, it's every single game up until Skyrim all in one thing, and it comes with all the game maps and everything like that, and it's really cool. And in there is a map of Cyrodiil, which is where this game takes place.
And like the map comes in very, very handy because for its time, the game world was absolutely massive. Smaller than some previous Elder Scrolls games. If I recall correctly, Elder Scrolls 2 was absolutely massive. But this was still very, very large, especially if you're coming in from a console instead of being on PC.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get used to how, like, I mean, I feel like Morrowind is massive because you're so slow, and Cyrodiil is still very big for what it is, you know? And,
Right. Especially if you grab too much loot.
you're over encumbered.
Yeah, if you are over encumbered in this game, good God, your travel speed is so slow. You can kind of bypass it if you have a horse. Get to the horse and mount it, and you can get to a city and sell some of the stuff you're carrying. But dear God, your speed is so slow if you carry too much stuff.
Yeah, but that's the only way to make it to being rich in that game, man. You go and you go into a cave or a dungeon, you raid it, you take all their armor and clothes and insignificant things and bring them to the nearest town, sell them, keep going, start haggling with the merchants, and then next thing you know, you're a septum dog millionaire.
Billionaire. But one thing I do like about this game, we've already discussed, I was a huge turn-based role-playing game fan, love Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. This game, though, is one of the first games I really got deep into, to where I didn't have to focus on the main quest line or on grinding my character. I would love just going out, exploring the wilderness, finding a random cave, going in there, clearing it out with loot, maybe finding a random quest in there while I was at it.
Oh yeah, there's tons of things like that, you know. Like I feel like the environments themselves in Elder Scrolls games have a life of their own, you know. And you never know if that specific cave is going to be like a part of a quest later on or something like that. You encounter something strange in there or things like that. When I was younger, I accidentally found one of the caves that was for the expansion, and you know, you see things in there that you aren't supposed to see yet, and I was like, what the hell is all this?
I remember my first go around early game. I was exploring outside the city, slowly making my way out in the map, and I come across a cave. And I go in there, and I get killed once because there's a couple traps in there. There's a spike pit trap, and then there's a gas trap. But I go in later on, and there's someone in there. They are decked out in this huge set of armor. And they stomped me pretty hard. But I got it in me. I wanted to loot this person because that armor looked really, really cool. So I went back to town. I got as many healing potions as I could. And I more or less spammed this chick while swinging and swigging potions constantly. Ends up being Umbra. So if you know anything about Elder Scrolls 4, the Umbra sword is one of the best swords in the game.
Yep. It's also one of the best in 3, but that's besides the point. Umbra is the devourer of souls, basically. And in the third game, it's kind of hinted that this sword controls the person if they're weak-willed, and it makes them kill. and the person who wields it often eventually ends up wishing to die because, they've killed so many people that they loved and that they didn't want to kill.
Which is
So.
totally the opposite for me if I owned Umbra, because I am enjoying filling up all those soul crystals in order to recharge my magical equipment without having to worry very much, because my sword's doing it all for me.
Yep, true. It's almost as cool as the Star of Azura.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another cool thing about these games is, for most of the part, they kind of always have these gods, and the gods are awesome. So you have the Daedra and you have the Aedra, and the Aedra are kind of seen as benevolent people, basically in the eyes of all of people on Nirn, and that's what they, I'm pretty sure, refer to Earth, their Earth as. And they gave up their powers to basically form Nirn and Earth and everything like that, and give life to everybody, and because they can't do anything because they used all their powers, they basically are like, yeah, here are these laws, don't violate these laws. And then the other Daedra are the ones that didn't help, and they're really powerful. It's kind of messed up because they're all crazy as hell.
Yep. One other thing that we didn't mention about Elder Scrolls is that each game more or less takes place in another continent or another country, more or less, but also each game takes place in a different time period. So at this point, Skyrim is a very, very popular game as of this recording. Cyrodiil actually borders Skyrim. However, the events in this game, I think, take place, was it 200 years before the events of Skyrim?
Ooh, I don't recall off the top of my head, but I think it's something like that. It's so far away that they don't believe that the Oblivion crisis happened.
Right. Which, the Oblivion crisis, we should explain, at a certain point in the game, you will come across a city that is under attack. The city is pretty well been destroyed, and there is this huge looking hellspawn portal. It looks like a portal to hell, and that's more or less what it is. But these portals begin spawning all across the game map. And you can go in these portals and shut them down, and you can pick up a very, very valuable item while you're in there. Every time you shut down a portal, you get one. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's an orb.
Sigil Stone.
Yeah, Sigil Stone. But it is a very, very handy tool in this game. And it kind of makes you not want to complete the main quest, because after you complete the main quest, these portals will not spawn anymore.
Right, and they're pretty easy way to get strong enchantments for your weapons and armor. So it's kind of one of those things where you're like, man, really? Do I really gotta stop these from opening? I mean, I could just close them,
Yep, I had set up a game save right before I ended the game, the main storyline of the game. That way I could reload that save instead of a game save after you beat the game. Because this is also one of those games, after you beat it, you can continue on exploring and doing quests and whatnot. Although I took the opposite direction and took my time finishing the main quest and just did many side quests, or sometimes it's not even doing any quests, just exploring, At one point you can find a unicorn, and the unicorn is so mythical in this game that there is only one that exists in the game. If you kill it, that's it. It's done. Or you can use it as a mount if you can somehow catch it.
Yeah, I want to say those for Hircine, the Daedric god Hircine, the god of the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
He sends you to go kill a bunch of mythical animals in this grove, like minotaurs and stuff like that.
And you can just stumble upon it without even being on the quest. It's one of the coolest parts about this game, is that many of the things in the game exist whether it's part of the story or quest or not. If you haven't discovered the quest, you can still acquire the items for the quest, or in some cases, kill someone that's critical to the quest, and then you can never complete the quest.
Yeah, not like Morrowind, to where they bring up that screen and they're like, the thread of prophecy has been severed.
Yep. Although they do have a few immortal NPCs in this game, to where if you attempt to kill them, you'll just knock them out and they'll get back up.
Well, that's honestly any character that's part of any quest is invincible. Unless it's like a minor thing to where it's like, oh, you would have gotten a better reward for keeping them alive, or certain things like that. Other than that, those people don't matter, and you can beat them up, and then they have no choice but to get back up and be like, hello. The voice, that's a good point to go into just how good the voice acting for this game is. So repetitive, and there's so many lines of dialogue and everything like that. So few people did it, and there's some mistakes that were left in that are pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I remember one. They literally left an outtake in where the voice actor's like, "Oh, let me redo that."
Which is hilarious.
Also, because well, I should reiterate, there is a small pool for the voice acting. However, for its time, there was a lot of voice acting in this game. But
Yeah,
it's absolutely
I will agree.
amazing whenever you have a guard just going to town on someone, beating the hell out of them. Then you go talk to the guard. Everything's cool and calm. I didn't just get done like beating the hell out of 4 thieves.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, pay with your blood.
Or go to jail and serve your time. Never go to jail in this game, because if you go to jail, your stats take a hit.
Oh my god, but you can totally break out of jail.
You can break out of jail, yes. I'm always just like, I'll pay the fine. I don't even want to risk the hit to my stats.
There is 2 different ways I think you can do that. So basically, you go to jail, you agree to go to jail, they put you in a cell, and then, the game starts from that point. So, it's like a loading screen or whatever. They take all the stuff that was off of you, and then you wake up inside the jail, and you have 2 choices. You either take the lockpick that's there, and that single lockpick in your inventory, and pick the lock, or use a lockpick spell on the door, or you touch your straw mat and serve your sentence.
Where do you think you were hiding that lockpick? Think our boy's using the prison pocket?
My secret meat pouch.
There is a way to get an unbreakable lockpick as well. Lockpicks can break if you mess up whenever you're trying to pop a lock. Although once you figure out the technique of doing it, even a lock that claims it's very hard isn't that hard to crack.
Yeah, you just have to have good patience.
Speaking of stats, we should bring up, this is one of those games where the more you use a stat, the stronger you get in that stat. It's not like a Final Fantasy, like when you level up, your numbers get a little bit of a buff. In this game, if you want to become a better jumper, jump around a lot. If you want to become better with a blade, use a sword. If you want to get better with heavy armor, wear heavy armor and take hits.
Yep, some of those skills, there's no way around it. You have to take a hit to get better at it, and eventually that's going to happen. So all you can do is basically pick which armor set you want to roll with and get good at. They both have their perks. And kind of go from there, and then there's stuff like acrobatics, athletics, I think it's athletics. And,
Yeah, I want to say athletic.
you get basically from that, you get how fast your fatigue regenerates while you're running, and then how fast you run, and then how high you can jump, and then not receive fall damage from higher points. And then that extends to like all the other things like swords, blunt weapons, short swords, long blades, stuff like that. They break it down into certain categories. It's not as overwhelming as it was in 3, where they have spears and axes and throwing weapons and stuff like that.
I mean, that does bring us to the magic system in this game, and magic breaks the game. There's no other way of putting it. Magic spells completely break this game wide open.
Yeah, the magic in this game is, there's lots of different exploits that people have used to increase their magicka to unlimited levels, but for me personally, I don't like doing any of that. Never have, never will, because already enough, if you're somebody who's like a journeyman of destruction spells or alteration spells and stuff like that, because there's a couple different classes of spells. Like there's illusion, alteration, mysticism,
Conjuration.
destruction. I don't remember the other ones, but
Conjuration was one.
Oh yeah, conjuration. You could summon little Daedric buddies to do things for you. And then more often than not, I did use that to hone my sneak skill. So I would like be somewhere and I would summon one of them and I would just like walk around behind them and then eventually do that thing. Because I always loved the hand-to-hand combat in the game. It's my favorite. And I would do that thing where he just shoves your whole hand into their back like a stiff missile. It's like, oh my god, I bet that hurts so goddamn bad.
One thing I would end up doing oftentimes, there is a piece of DLC that more or less gives you a mage tower. And at this mage tower, you can craft your own spells. So I would craft incredibly weak spells to use to boost my stats. Like I would make a burn spell that would cause 1 point of damage on self. And I would just cast that repeatedly to build my skill in that. And then once I got down to like, half health or something, I'd switch over to a restoration spell that would give me 5 points of health back and constantly recast it. So I that's an easy thing to do while you're kind of exploring the countryside, to just boost your magic skills to pretty powerful levels fairly quickly.
Yep. And restoration spells do all of the healing in the game, but they also can steal certain things like skill points and stuff like that. So basically you can make it to where you can kind of do like a crazy vampire build, and you can make it to where you can steal people's health with like just touching them with the palm of your hand, essentially, and it's broken as hell.
You can be more of a vampire than actually being a vampire, because in this game you can be a vampire, but in my opinion it's not worth it. The pros aren't worth the cons.
One of the counts in the game is a vampire themselves too, and I don't remember which one it is, but it's a very cool quest line, that one.
Yep. The guy in the Dark Brotherhood, the very first guy gives you quests. He will offer to turn you into a vampire if you wish, and you can do it, but like I said, in my opinion, the whole thing of losing health constantly whenever you're in the sun isn't worth the stat buffs you get from it.
Yeah, I agree. As cool as it is.
Oh yeah, it's cool, because not only do you get the stat buffs, but the further you are into your vampirism, the more your character's physical features change. It's a really cool touch.
Yeah. Because you go, what is it, pyrific hemophilia or something like that is the name of the disease that you contract first. Then it just keeps getting worse.
But speaking of things that aren't worth it, this game was an early console game that brought DLC into the fold.
Boo!
If
Piss.
if you Google it, a lot of people will claim that this game was the first game to have DLC, which is actually incorrect. I don't know where they came up with that, but I'm here like, y'all never play The Sims? It had like 1 million expansion packs back in the day. But the first piece of DLC is infamous in this game because it gave you horse armor. Horse armor did not actually increase your horse's armor rating. It was just a skin on your horse, and it cost $4.99.
But it looks so cool.
It indeed looked shiny. Although it was an armor item that did not increase in armor stat.
No, it didn't. It really is such a shameful note for this game to have such a thing. It really is, because it's one of the best games ever made, if you ask me. One of them. Not the, but one of them.
Yeah, and later DLC packs for this game were actually worth it. Knights of the Nine, Shivering Isles are very much worth it in this game.
Yep, the Shivering Isles are my favorite. Because you go into Shale Gorath's domain. A strange door has opened in the Nibbin Bay. And you have to go investigate it.
I
And,
did love
it's
how
really
the
cool.
side quests worked whenever you bought them through the DLC. Your character would just wake up after you load your game save, and it's like you'd get a pop-up window of all these quests. So if you only had the core game, and then later on you added the Shivering Isles and the Knights of the Nine expansion, you'd have like 20 or 25 different pop-up windows about new quests popping up the next time you load it in.
Yep. And then there's like a strange one where you go like to an island that's being besieged by somebody. I don't quite remember that one that well, but
It's the
like I
Mushroom
said,
Kingdom.
huh?
It's the Mushroom Kingdom. There's giant mushrooms there.
Let me get Luigi on the gram, dude. He
Oh my
needs to
god,
figure this out.
totally make a Luigi-based Elder Scrolls character. What can he do? He jumps really high. So I have seen, so I know you have it, this game has been remastered and re-released.
Yes, oh yes, they did. And it's actually pretty good. It's not too awfully bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the remaster. I've owned this game for ages on 360, and I rebought on Steam. I have not bought this game as many times as I've bought Skyrim. But I have repurchased it once on PC, and now twice for the remaster. And I think it's worth the money.
I feel like it's worth the money if you've never played it before. If you have played it before, I don't really feel like it changed enough for it to be all that different. I mean, it did, but at the same time, it didn't. And it honestly made it a lot easier than it was.
A bit, and my only real gripe is that a lot of the characters don't look like I remember them looking. Like the very, very early game, there's an emperor over Cyrodiil called Uriel Septim, I think. And to me, he looks nothing like what I remember him looking like. He still sounds the same. It's still Patrick Stewart voicing him, but he looks totally different to me.
Oh yeah, well they updated all the models and everything like that, so they look nothing like how they used to. They definitely did a more modern look at on all the characters and everything like that, even the Argonians and Khajiit. So everybody looks really different, and this Khajiit has wares if you have coin.
Yes, and this Argonian has books written about him.
Like the lusty Argonian maid.
How do you know?
My sweet dumpling.
Ah, Miss lifts her tail.
I'm glad we both read that little piece of in-game lore there.
There are many books you can read in this game, and they're not full books. They're only like maybe 6 to 8 pages. But there are some interesting ones out in the world.
Yeah, the way I look at that is kind of like, they're not going to take their time to write a whole book, but what they're doing is they're kind of taking excerpts from that book, and that's what you read. That's what matters.
Well,
and that's
it's
why
lore
they
building,
present
in
in
my
that
opinion.
format.
In my opinion, it's lore building, and it did it the right way years before Final Fantasy 13 did it the wrong way of just having data logs entered into a submenu whenever you got to a certain point in the game. This game did it right, where it litters the books throughout the world for you to actually be able to find and open up and get deeper in the lore.
Yep, I agree. I mean, it really does help kind of immerse you into that, And on top of that, you just kind of can't help, like, literally, that is something I find myself saying something sometimes. Like, I'll be like, oh, like, did something happen, But instead I'll be like, by the 9.
You know what book I'm quoting from this game.
Yep.
Which we've already talked about. There's only been one volume. It kind of hints towards another volume being out there. Maybe we'll see that in Elder Scrolls 6?
Not with Todd Howard at the reins.
Oh god, you're probably right.
He's like Argonians meeting with Bretons or Imperials? Never.
I must finish my cleaning, sir. The mistress will have my head if I do not. Cleaning, eh? I have something for you. Here, polish my spear. It's huge. It can take me all night. Book's so good.
Yep. I love that one, man. Another good read is the biography of I don't know how to say it, Baron Zaya or something like that, I think. And she was one of the princesses of the royal courts that ended up in Daggerfall. And it's a really cool story about her whole life and everything like that. It's really cool. You actually get to meet her in Elder Scrolls too. Really cool.
Oh, neat. We should also talk about the comedy in the game. We talked about it a little bit with the Leslie Argonian maid, but there are other moments, and it's not really meant to be a funny game, but it has its moments where you have to do a double take, like the horse stable where the orcs are eating all the horses.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, there is a horse stable. I want to say it's outside Cyrodiil, to be honest, where they're like, we can't rent any horses right now. And more or less it's because the stable people ate them.
Oh, okay. I forget what city that is. But yeah.
Or you've got the chick, and she's like, what's the punishment for necrophilia? And you're like, oh, it's 4 years. And she's like, oh, that's it? It was a lot more over in fucking Skyrim or whatever it was.
I would imagine that would probably be a dark elf.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then, that's a huge controversy in this game, that the Archmage of the Mages Guild basically made it illegal to practice necromancy and stuff like that. So all the people who do it are these social pariahs that basically live on the fringes of society, and you kill them on sight essentially because they know that they're doing bad stuff.
I love that, folks. This is more lore building. It's like, it's okay to summon a demon from hell. You can literally summon like scamps and whatnot, and that's fine, but don't try to bring anyone back from the dead.
Yeah.
We will have no Christianity in the land of Cyrodiil.
Yeah, only followers of Akatosh.
That's right. There are many different religions in this game.
I wouldn't really call them religions, but there's many different gods that they worship.
Yeah, I misphrased that, but many different people follow many different deities.
And that's all based upon their personal preference, There's like certain gods that are about love and kindness, which I think it's Debella. She's one of the Aedra. And then there's Stendar, who is one of the gods of like fairness and justice, and he's like all about getting rid of Daedra and stuff like that. It's kind of take your pick type of deal, unless you're the Dragonborn, in which case you have no choice and you're a follower of Akatosh.
There is no fate but what Bethesda made.
Oh, and to be politically correct, we're gonna have to say the 8 divines. We don't want the Aldmeri Dominion to be pissed at us.
Yeah, that's right. So, the only other thing I'm really gonna have to say of this is I had more fun exploring and doing side quests than I did the main quest. Like, the main quest line you can actually complete fairly quickly and roll credits and be done, but to me, the meat of the game is all in side questing and exploring.
Oh, yeah. Especially that one to where it's like Mario 64 and you have to go inside that guy's painting and help him get out. Yeah. There's tons of cool stuff like that are absolutely so intriguing, and you just can't help but like feel like, God, this is so mystical and magical and cool, and you just fall in love with it.
I recently did one quest where I actually had to get an Elder Scroll and turn it back in, but there's this, just out in the countryside, wandering around, you find a scrap of a note, turn it into a guy at a chapel, and he tells you to investigate another area. You go there, you get to a door that you can't open. You go back to him, he gives you a way of opening it. You go back in there, and you explore. You eventually find, go figure, the titular Elder Scroll, and turned into him, and he turned into more or less an unlimited armor repository for me. He's like, yeah, you want some armor? Do you want light or do you want heavy? And what kind of weapon do you want? And you can actually take that armor from him, sell it, go back, get another set, and it's an unlimited gold farm at that point.
Yep, I believe I know which one you're talking about. For some reason, he's wandering around outside of Kvatch. And Kvatch is where the first Oblivion gate opens up, because they're trying to kill the last heir of Martin Septim.
And to me, that's where the game did slow down a bit. Whenever you do go into the Oblivion gates, you have to get those sigil stones that are in there. But I ended up just kind of building a few tricks around just burning through real quick. So I kind of got bored inside the Oblivion gates. I wanted to be in Cyrodiil more than I did in Oblivion. What about you?
Oh man, I love the Oblivion gates. There's little secret areas in some of them sometimes, and they have very rare items. So if you just blaze through them, you're gonna miss them. There's some really powerful armors and weapons and stuff like that you have in RNG that you might possibly get in some of these kind of abandoned areas, stuff like that, or like, like the little spire things that you go into. Some of them are like at an angle, so they're like clearly defunct or falling into the ground and stuff like that, and you can still go in there.
Yeah, I explored some of them, but I felt like a lot of them looked the same to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's like saying everything in Nern looks the same as it does in Nern, and then being like, "Bleh."
Right, I get your point. It was just one of those things that, for me personally, I got to the point to where I was just raiding the Oblivion Gates primarily for the sigil stones.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no other good reason to do. Well, when you get higher level and the enemies start dropping better loot and there's better Daedra that are in there, and you start getting the Daedric sets of armor and you start getting the ebony blades and the ebony weaponry and stuff like that that's worth a fortune, you might be sitting there being like, okay, I'm going to go inside this Oblivion Gate and I'm going to steal everything.
That does help, but keep in mind, if you're listening to this and have not played this, this is one of those games where the enemies level up when you level up.
Yep. So you gotta constantly have a good way of dealing with your enemies consistently, because if you don't, well, not one thing will work for forever. So
Yeah.
you gotta adapt.
If you're playing on either normal or hard, on the difficulty slider thing, if you level up too quickly without paying attention to what you're leveling up, you will quickly find yourself outpaced.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that, because you have your like main principal stats that affect all your skills, and that's what you level up basically when you rest and sleep and view your inspirational message at every level up.
The
Those are
inspirational
cool, man. I
messages
love
are
them.
funny. I get a chuckle out of them. It's like
Oh, I like them.
you awaken, and it's like your eyes have opened for the first time. You suddenly understand the world and how massive it can be.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's great. I love those. I love those ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, they're good. But yeah, you definitely have to watch what you level up and how you level up, because if you make a mistake and you start leveling up stats that you don't use a whole lot, dear God, the enemies will stomp you if you're playing on hard. But the weird thing is, if you try toning it down to easy, I found easy to be too easy no matter what I did.
Yeah, yeah, there's no doubt about that. That's like for like a little kid or something, you know?
Yeah, like I had trouble finding that middle ground almost on some characters. It depends. Like on some characters, not a problem no matter what I did. On others, I couldn't find that middle ground between fun difficulty, brutally hard, and way too easy.
Yep, that sounds about right. You know, sometimes it can be a little bit of a struggle to find that middle ground, but, I feel like eventually when you spec your character out how you want to, even if it is on hard, you can still decimate enemies pretty quickly.
Yeah, as long as you got the right build, yeah. So, if you were to recommend this game to someone today, would you recommend the remaster or the original? Because I'm going to look at pricing real quick just to clear it up a little bit. The remastered version right now is going for $49.99. Did they pull the original whenever the remaster came out? Because I'm not seeing it whenever I search on Steam.
Wow, that's very crappy if they did.
Oh, never mind. It's here. Oblivion Game of the Year Edition, 1999. So you can either get the remaster for 50 or you can get the original for 20.
Yeah, here's what I recommend. So, go and get yourself Vortex mods, buy the original, get yourself a 60 FPS patch, get yourself the HD graphics patch, and all the other stuff that that entails. I think it's like called Oblivion Reborn or something like that. It's a whole mod pack, and it's literally just as good as the remaster without having changed so much of the systems that made the first iteration of it challenging and fun. Because with this, the way they did the second one, I don't like the way that skills level up so quickly and stuff like that. It is a little too fast.
Yeah, it can definitely outpace what you're trying to do. I got a similar recommendation. I would recommend the original PC version, but I would recommend the Game of the Year edition, which has all the DLC with it. And I would really only mess with remastered if you're playing on console only and do not have a PC.
Yep, like I said, get the Game of the Year edition. Go and get some mods, mod it. It is so fun. That's what I did. That's why I have over 100. When I said I had 100 hours into it, I mean the original, not the remaster. The remaster is a little bit now too, but nowhere near that. So do with that what you will, but I think the evidence speaks for itself.
All right. Well, normally this is the part of the podcast where I ask our uh, other host on here where you can find him at, although I feel that might be self-serving in this case.
You know where to find us.
That's right, because not only is Grim on here, he is on the Lost and Gone podcast, which I haven't seen any new episodes in a while. Is anything new coming out with that anytime soon?
I'm trying to make time for it, man, but work and life and stuff like that's really been getting in the way.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Off podcast, we were discussing my work day for the day. We actually had to reschedule this. This was originally going to be episode 109, but we had some scheduling issues. And I think it took us like a week and a half to get to this point.
Yeah, I just came back from a business trip and I totally forgot that I was like, oh yeah, we need to record. And then you probably were like, yeah, I don't feel like it anyway. So,
I mean, I was almost to that point that day just because my work had been lighting up my phone. And I'm here like, I'm not sure if I can get in podcast mode or not.
so it seems like it worked out.
Outside of that, where else can you be found?
Well, we have a Discord that me and you moderate. The Grim Glow Discord. Come check that out. We're also pretty frequently on the Secret Levels podcast Discord. Great place to be, both places.
Yep. We also co-host Grim Glow, where we talk about low-tech game reviews. We have done Tamagotchi, and there will be an episode coming out on Simon and on the Simon Optics fairly soon as well.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be pretty good. I don't know if it's as good as the Tamagotchi one, but it is pretty good still.
No,
Really
I'd say it's
love
pretty
that one.
good. I enjoyed recording it. I think it's going to be a good one when it comes out. And then we've also spent a little bit of change on eBay getting ready for future episodes.
Yeah, we want to get that mannequin head.
Well, I sent you the screenshot.
I know. That guy sucks.
Yeah, he does. I was
Dude,
very
come on.
disappointed. It's okay. We got other people looking for us for a matching mannequin head that matches what was in that picture.
Yeah, one day at a time. But that does mean that I guess we'll just we may as well announce it. I mean, it's going to be ahead of the episode coming out, but we were thinking about doing a little giveaway with it, and we're both going to try to sign the mannequin head, and then we're going to give away one of the Simon Optics headsets.
Yep. That does remind me, I do need to add another one to my cart. That way I've got one for the loot box and then one for the giveaway. So I'm going to do that. I don't even know
why you want to keep that cursed thing, man.
Because we have to do it. We have to play 2-player.
You're going to make me put that thing on, man. That thing's tight on my brain.
No, we're going to do this out in public. We're going to look cool.
It's so cool, dude.
All right. So on that note, I think it's time for us to roll some outro music.
Close shut the jaws of Oblivion.
Rated teen.
How goes it? I've been better. I hope things get better. Bye. Goodbye. Oh, hello. How are you today? I've been better. How about you? I've been better. What's the news from the other parts of Tamriel? Nothing I'd like to talk about. So long. Be seeing you.
I'm the only alchemist in Skingrad. Not much business here, but I can't go back to Morrowind. It's just like anywhere else in the Empire. By the way, do you happen to know what the fine is here in Cyrodiil for necrophilia? Just asking. Let's assume... No. That's nothing compared to Morrowind. Thanks.
Go ahead, please. I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again. I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Afterglow. That outro, Oblivion has a lot of ambient music, so I wanted to do a little different, so we threw in a commercial, and then some of my favorite NPC dialogue moments. But, as always, we're here to say thank you to everyone who's supported the show, and we're going to start off with the patrons from Patreon, OCD in every RPG, and Toby drinks Big Red Soda. If you'd like to join that list, you can go to Patreon and subscribe for just $1 a month, and that will also get you a shout out at the end of every episode. Of course, if you'd like to support the show in other ways, you're supporting just by listening. If you have time, I'd love it if you'd leave a review on the podcast platform of your choice. If you're looking for more podcast goodness, be sure to check out the show notes where there is a link tree. That link tree has all kinds of goodies, including tons of other friends of the show to listen to. There's a merch store if you want to grab a magnet or a t-shirt or something. There's links to the Discord where you can join in and chat with many other listeners, along with myself and Grim, who was on this episode. And, of course, our special shout-out every episode to Grim, who did the intro and outro music for Afterglow, as well as Toby Von Doom, who came up with the show logo. And now I'd like to play a few ads from other podcasts that I enjoy. They're friends of the show, and they'd love it if you'd check them out.
For more than 15 years, Retro Gaming Roundup has been the centre of your retro gaming universe, with top 10s, interviews, game reviews, news, and much more from all over the globe. Be sure to tune in every month for a new dose of Retro Gaming Roundup. That's That's RetroGamingRoundup.com.
Hey, this is Toby, one half of the Secret Levels podcast. We're a podcast that goes over old retro games. We go over the history, the story, the gameplay, some fun facts. We even rage a little bit. And then we go and give it a nice 1 to 10 rating to let you know if it's still worth playing. We have over 200 reviews for games on the NES, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and many other consoles. You can find us on all the major podcasting apps, such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us on social media at Secret Levels Pod. Game over, folks.
Hello and welcome to the Reviews Brothers. It's me, Martin, and you can join me on YouTube where I have hundreds of videos covering a huge range of video game topics. I've got top 10s, hidden gems, console-focused A to Zs, as well as dedicated videos to topics like Doom mods, 3D platform games, ninja games, pirate games, and more. I cover all systems from Commodore 64 right up to modern consoles. Nothing gaming is off the table. So be sure to search for the Reviews Brothers on YouTube as well as on Instagram and TikTok for hundreds of retro and modern video game reviews.
Afterglow listeners, it's me, Keith Gasper, coming at you from the #1 retro gaming podcast, the Main Quest Podcast. Come hang out as a guest and I play and discuss a game from the backlog of my childhood. We're talking about our history and the history of the game, and if it's worth checking out today. We're talking about games from the NES, the Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, Game Boy, and much more. And that's just on the main feed. If you enjoy what you're hearing on Afterglow, you're going to enjoy the Main Quest, and I'm happy to have you. Find the Main Quest on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify, and wherever great podcasts are downloaded.
Hello, my name is Aaron. I'm one half of Super Pod Saga, a topical variety video game podcast fueled entirely by nostalgia and unleaded gasoline. Super Pod Saga, we discuss a different video game topic each and every week. We have new episodes every single Monday covering a different video game topic. More than anything, we want to entertain our listeners and make you feel like you're one of the boys, like you're hanging out at a campfire with some of your best zany, caffeine-powered buddies and just talking about your favorite games and all that stuff. Stop on down to Super Pod Saga. It's on every podcatcher there is. If it's not, let me know and we'll get on it. Again, Super Pod Saga, stop on by.